There is not one simple answer. I think better use of 106 money may be one way forward to try and get more. Looking at areas which have been previously developed, old garage areas and so on, and taking those down and building much higher density. We have got restrictions such as nothing can be higher than the cathedral. We have had a big churn in our planning department, a big turnover in planning officers, and all of that makes it difficult to get a coherence. And so we haven't got a vision for St Albans, which has made us kind of the victim of predatory developers. I'm not actually sure anyone's done a profile to say what houses do we need, not what sells. In law, all the equalities were given with the Civil Partnerships Bill. Everything, and you could still have a blessing if your church was amenable to do it as well, or your religious body was amenable to do it. And I just felt for many people, and myself included, you could not redefine marriage as between anything other than a man and a woman. I actually do object to a lot of the decisions that are made in the European courts, and I think they often try to overrule us. I mean, for example, just on prisoners, voting rights, people say, why can't we make our own decisions on this matter? And I think we should be able to. But passengers tell me what they want is the service they've paid for. So, you know, it kind of gets back onto the franchisee. It's part of keeping traffic off our roads, keeping the whole thing moving, allowing people to commute into the station by and improving that, which is why the repair centre would be there, improving that opportunity for people to cycle, putting more facilities at the stations to improve the whole experience as a passenger. I don't believe in saying blame, but who made the argument acceptable was the developer, and it stood up in numerous challenges. And I dispute the argument, I dispute it is acceptable, and I dispute it'll ever actually be a fully fledged strategic rail freight site. It might be a rail freight site because they haven't got the rail gaugings. But the Secretary of State made the decision, and so it is his decision, and we have to stand by it. Having the urgent care centre there, which I'm really lobbying for, and I think I've made a persuasive argument for it, and I think they're sounding as if they're really looking favourably on it, but hey, we won't know that will actually take the pressure off Watford. We cannot. I wish we didn't go to Watford. I wish it wasn't there on match day. I wish it wasn't such a dump filled with asbestos, which it is, and I wish it wasn't such an unpleasant experience for many people who are in it, having to go and visit relatives there, go across that really hilly car park, can't find anywhere to park, costs them a fortune. I wish we didn't have that. Let's see what we can get out of that now, because we need to make sure that we've got a lot of facilities locally, but we've got to be pragmatic. We are not going to have an A&E, and we're not going to have a super hospital. So I think we've got to be responsive. We are the fastest growing area for under 20s in the county. So we are going to have that as an ongoing demographic problem if we don't look and allow for some capacity and build as well. But I think that should cross the range. It should be academies, it should be free schools, it should be whatever the local people want. It's a democracy. If they want a school local and they're not too bothered about having massive amount of outside play space like the city school, let them have it. As a Eurosceptic that's never had a vote on Europe, I'm quite happy to let the public have a say. I back the bill to have a referendum. I think it's right that we try and do some renegotiation, if only because there will be a lot of people undecided about what their position in Europe should be. But in the end, it won't be a Conservative government or party taking the public out of Europe if that is what we do. It will be the people. And I don't know why we can't trust the people with a referendum. I actually think it is, because the reality is, and you've seen it in St Albans as well, and indeed if you go behind the Abbey, you'll see bottles left in little bags bought from off licences from kids getting tanked up. I don't believe moderate drinking in pubs is actually causing alcoholism. And whisky is one of our biggest export. Scottish whisky is a huge export benefit to the country. People who will want to drink irresponsibly can go into supermarkets and buy absolutely dirt cheap booze. And so I don't believe ratcheting up the price of over-the-counter beer prices is actually the way forward. I think what we should be looking at is the promotion of alcohol. We should be looking at education, young people.